My name is Daniel Cross, and 23 years ago, I was the quiet kid at Westbrook High. Not the bullied kid, not the outcast, just quiet, the kind of quiet that blends into walls. I sat in the back of every class. I ate lunch alone by the library stairs. Not because anyone told me to, just because I preferred it that way. My mother was a janitor here. She worked double shifts to keep a roof over our heads after my father passed away when I was 12. I'd see her sometimes, late at night, scrubbing the same floors I walked during the day. She never complained. She just smiled and told me to focus on my math homework. Math was my escape. Numbers made sense. People were harder to read. The other kids weren't cruel to me. That's the strange part. They just didn't see me. I'd hold doors open, and people would walk through without a glance. I'd raise my hand in class, and teachers would call on someone else. I existed in the space between moments, unnoticed and unremarkable. I remember Jessica Mitchell. Beautiful. Popular. Captain of the debate team. I never spoke to her, not once. But I watched from a distance, the way you watch a movie, admiring the characters but knowing you're not part of their world. When graduation came, I shook the principal's hand, collected my diploma, and left. No one noticed. No one said goodbye. I was just the quiet kid, forgettable, invisible. Nothing. I left Westbrook that night and didn't look back. I slept in my car for 3 months while attending community college. I washed dishes at a diner at night. I studied coding in every spare minute. Then came the idea. Then I was 22, working a graveyard shift, when it hit me. A new kind of encryption algorithm. Something that could help small businesses protect their data. I stayed up for 3 days straight, writing code on napkins, in notebooks, anywhere I could. Command. I sold the prototype for $50,000. It felt like a fortune. I invested every penny. Built a team. Built a company. Built something I never expected to build. By 30, I was a millionaire. By 35, a billionaire. My cybersecurity firm, CrossGuard, became trusted by schools, hospitals, and small businesses around the world. We helped people. We protected dreams. That was always the goal, but I never forgot where I came from. And every year, on my mother's birthday, I'd donate $1 million to underfunded schools. Anonymously. No name. No press. Just a check signed to a friend. My mother never knew. She passed away 5 years ago, still living in the same small apartment. Still proud of her son, who would well for himself. She never knew how well. Then last month, the invitation arrived, gold-embossed heavy paper. Westbrook High School's Urser's Year Reunion. I stared at it for a long time, 20 years. Had anything really changed? Would anyone even remember my name? I made a decision. I wanted to see them, not for revenge, not to prove anything. I just wanted to know if I walked into that room as myself, would anyone notice? Or would I still be invisible? The reunion was at the Grand Heritage Hotel, a beautiful place. I knew because I'd attended a charity event there last year. The staff knew me. They also knew to keep my visit quiet. I arrived early, not in a limousine, not in a suit. Minda. I arrived through the service entrance. I wore a uniform similar to the one my mother used to wear. Dark blue pants, light blue shirt, a name tag that said you Daniel, facilities. I even brought a mop and bucket. I wanted to see the room before anyone arrived. I wanted to feel what my mother must have felt, preparing spaces for people who would never know she existed. The banquet hall looked beautiful. White tablecloths, crystal chandeliers, a dance floor, a stage with a microphone. My old classmates would be here soon, dressed in their finest, ready to share stories about the last 2 decades. I started near the entrance, wiping down surfaces that were already clean, just to have something to do with my hands. The first arrivals came around 7. Couples in nice dresses and suits. I recognized some of them. There was Mark Henderson, class president, now a regional manager at an insurance company. He walked past me without a glance. "Yen, excuse me," I said softly, moving my bucket. He stepped around me and kept walking. More arrived. The laughter started. The music played. I kept wiping tables, kept my head down, kept watching. Then I saw her. Jessica Mitchell walked in with her husband. She looked happy, genuinely happy. She was wearing a simple but elegant dress, laughing at something her husband whispered. He looked kind, steady, the opposite of the flashy boys she dated in high school. "This is beautiful," she said, looking around. "I can't believe it's been 20 years, dada." I smiled to myself and kept wiping tables. I worked my way through the room, wiping tables near groups, emptying trash cans that were barely full. And I listened. People shared stories, marriages, children, careers, failures, triumphs. It was human, more human than I expected. "Did you hear about Daniel Cross?" Someone said. "You the tech billionaire? He went here, you know?" "No way, Daniel Cross." "That quiet kid? The one whose mom was the janitor?" "The same. His company helps protect data for schools now. My daughter's elementary school uses CrossGuard. It's actually really cool." Jessica's voice joined in. "I remember him. He was so quiet. I don't think I ever heard him speak Dinder. Wouldn't it be wild if he showed up?" Someone laughed. "He probably has better things to do," Mark said. "Why would a billionaire come to a high school reunion?" I kept wiping tables near the back wall. Then a woman approached me. Older, kind face. She was carrying a tray of empty glasses. "Excuse me," she said. "You know where the recycling bins are?" The staff at the front weren't sure. "Dane," I pointed toward the service hallway. "We through there? Turn left." "I can show you if you'd like." She dindled. She smiled. "That's okay, I'll find it. Thank you for your help." "Brosdell," I nodded. She walked away. It was the first time anyone had spoken to me all night. I finished my circuit and retreated to the service hallway. I had a decision to make. Did I really want to reveal myself? Or should I just leave, let them have their night, and keep my memories as they were? Only I pulled out my phone and called Marcus, my head of security. "What do you think?" I asked. He was quiet for a moment. "You've been asking that question for 20 years, Daniel. Maybe it's time for an answer." I took a deep breath. Send the notification. And 2 minutes later, every phone in the banquet hall buzzed simultaneously. I watched through the service door as people grabbed their devices. Confusion! Then excitement. "Oh, wow!" someone shouted. "You Daniel Cross just posted for the first time ever." "Look, Yem. Rom, I had posted one sentence. I had posted one sentence. Westbrook High reunion. 20 years later, I'm here." People started looking around, curious, excited, not desperate, just genuinely interested. "Where is he?" Someone asked. "Is he really here?" Mark grabbed the microphone. "Everyone settle down. If Daniel is here, let's welcome him properly." "Daniel? Daniel Cross? Are you in the room?" Silence. Everyone looked around. I set down my mop near the service door and walked into the room. No one noticed me at first. I was still in the uniform, still invisible. Then one of the servers, the same woman who'd asked about recycling, pointed at me. "Wait," she said. "He was helping me earlier. He was so kind." People turned, stared. Confusion spread across their faces. I reached up and unbuttoned my facility shirt. Underneath, I wore a simple button-down. Nothing flashy, just clean and presentable. I walked toward the stage. The crowd parted, confused but curious. No fear, no panic, just wonder. I stepped onto the stage and took the microphone from Mark's trembling hand. "Hello, everyone," I said quietly. "It's me, Daniel, the quiet kid who sat in the back, the one whose mother cleaned these halls. I'm here." Mustard. The room went silent. Not an uncomfortable silence, just a surprised one. "You were just talking about me," I continued, wondering if I'd show up. "Well, I've been here all night, wiping tables, emptying trash, talking to a lovely woman about recycling bins." I nodded toward the server, who blushed. It was the most conversation I've had at a school event ever. A few people laughed, nervous, but warm. "Oken. I didn't come here for attention," I said. "I came because I had a question. Something I've wondered for 20 years. I looked out at the faces. So many I recognized. So many who had never noticed me. "When I was here," I said, "I was invisible. Not bullied, not hurt, just unseen. I don't blame anyone for that. High school is hard. Everyone's focused on their own world. I understand. But I always wondered, if I'd been seen, would things have been different? Would I have been less lonely? Would I have made friends? Would I have felt like I belonged somewhere?" The room was completely still. "My mother believed in me," I continued. She was the only one. She worked double shifts, cleaned these floors, went hungry, so I could eat. And she never once complained. She just smiled and said, You're special, Daniel. One day the world will see it. Enter take stas for Peace 40 cast. One day the world will see it. I felt tears forming. I didn't hide them. Yeah, she passed away 5 years ago. She never knew about the company. Never knew about the money. She died in that same small apartment, proud of me for reasons that had nothing to do with success. She was proud because I was kind, because I worked hard, because I remembered to call her every Sunday. I paused. Let the silence hold. As I walked toward the door, I heard footsteps behind me, Daniel. Wait, I turned. Jessica Mitchell stood there, her husband beside her. Her eyes were wet. I remember you, she said softly. I didn't think I did, but when you started talking about your mother, I remember seeing her once, late at night. I was at school for a debate thing, and she was cleaning the auditorium. She smiled at me, asked if I needed anything. I said no, and kept walking. I didn't even say thank you. I nodded. Said nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jessica continued. You not for anything big, just for not seeing. For being so wrapped up in my own world that I never noticed the people around me. Your mother deserved better. You deserved better. Jane, her husband, stepped forward. I'm Tom, he said, extending his hand. I've used CrossGuard at my small business for years. Your software saved us from a data breach last year. I never knew the person behind it was standing here tonight. Thank you. Don did. I shook his hand. You're welcome. Dane, more people approached, not rushing, just walking up, one by one. Some apologized. Some thanked me. Some just introduced themselves as if meeting me for the first time, which, in a way, they were. Mark Henderson came up looking embarrassed. I was class president, he said. I was supposed to make everyone feel included. I failed you. I'm sorry, Don did. I looked at him. You were 17. We were all just figuring things out. Portugal. He nodded slowly. Maybe, but still, I'm sorry. By the end, a small crowd had gathered around me. Not demanding anything, not asking for money or favors, just connecting, human to human. Then the woman who'd asked about recycling bins approached. She was holding a small notepad. I don't know if this is appropriate, she said nervously. But my daughter, she's quiet like you were. She struggles to make friends. She loves math too. I was wondering, would you maybe write her a note? Something encouraging? You don't have to. I took the notepad. I'd be honored. What's her name? Emily. Muzzle. I wrote for a minute, then handed it back. You tell her the quiet ones often have the most interesting things to say. They're just waiting for the right moment. Dodv. The woman read the note and started crying, she whispered. We thank you so much. I stayed for another hour, not as a billionaire, not as a speaker, just as a person, talking to other people. We shared stories, laughed about old teachers, remembered moments I'd long forgotten. Someone pulled out a yearbook. People pointed at my photo, small, in the back row of the math club picture I'd almost forgotten joining. Look at you, someone laughed. You same serious face. Didn't I smiled, you still the same face. But not the same person, Jessica said quietly. Right? I thought about it. You same person, I said. You just more visible now. Plausited. Near the end of the night, Mark took the microphone again. Before we go, he said, I want to say something tonight. We got a gift. A chance to see someone we missed the first time around. Daniel, I'm sorry it took 20 years, but I'm grateful you came. I stood there, surrounded by people who finally saw me. And I thought about my mother. She'd always said the world would see me, eventually. She just didn't know it would take 2 decades and a high school reunion. Before I left, Jessica stopped me one more time. There's something I want to show you, she said. She pulled out her phone and scrolled to a photo. This is my daughter. She's 10. She's quiet, too. And she loves math. I've been trying to be better, really see her, because of what you said tonight about being invisible. I don't want that for her. I looked at the photo. A girl with bright eyes and a shy smile, holding a math trophy. She's beautiful, I said. And she's lucky. She has a mother who sees her. Jessica smiled. We all just need someone to see us, I nodded. Maybe we do. Jenda. I walked out into the night. The car was waiting. Marcus opened the door. Well? He asked. When I looked back at the hotel, through the window, I could see people laughing, hugging, saying goodbye, normal, human, beautiful. I think, I said slowly. I finally got my answer. It's been 6 months now. I still run CrossGuard. We still help schools and small businesses protect their dreams. But something's different. I go to more events now. Not as a speaker, still not comfortable with that, but I show up, I talk to people, I listen. The community center I built in my old neighborhood opened last month. It has free tutoring programs, computer labs, and a quiet room for kids who need space to just be. There's a plaque near the entrance. It says, "In memory of Margaret Cross, who believed every child deserved to be seen." Causard, Jessica's daughter, Emily, comes to the center twice a week. She's in the advanced math program. Last week, she solved a problem that stumped the tutor. She looked at me with those bright eyes and said, "My mom told me you were quiet too." Is that true? I knelt down. It's true. But I learned that being quiet doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It just means you're waiting for the right moment. Donders. She smiled. Maybe this is my right moment. Moderate, maybe it is. They called me invisible. They called me quiet. They called me the janitor's son. But here's what they didn't know. Janitor's kids see everything. We see who's kind when no one's watching. We see who's struggling. We see the difference between people who succeed and people who just live. And we learn that success isn't about money or fame. It's about being seen, really seen, for who you actually are. Amanda, my mother used to say, "Daniel, the world is full of people waiting to be noticed. Be the one who notices." Dada, I spent 20 years waiting to be noticed. Now, I spend my time noticing others, and honestly, that's a much better way to live. And if you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more tales of second chances, quiet strength, and the power of being seen. Click the bell for notifications. And remember, look around you today. You might just notice someone who's been there all along.